Hello everybody, good morning. Thank you once again for joining us. And now thank you everybody who is watching this on YouTube. So glad you decided to click on our YouTube channel and watch this video. Watch all our videos. They're all wonderfully prepared for us by Reverend Kelly. She does such a great job. Okay, the title of my talk today, Cruelty and the Illusion of Separation. And I have to give you a warning. I'm going to be using some four-letter words that some people may not think are appropriate.
Yeah.
And that's only because I'm quoting somebody else who used them. I wasn't going. They're not my own words. So if four-letter words that start with F offend you, you should probably unclick the video or log off of ACIM Gather right now. Okay. So the last couple of months have been very interesting for me because of some other functions that I do. I'm an administrator on a very large, a very active Facebook page, and some other things that I do. And people have been attacking me. Okay, you know, I don't have to perceive it as attack, and I try not to perceive it as attack. Sometimes my ego slips a little bit and feels a little bit like attack, and usually I can step back and not have it seem that way. And they attack me and the Community Miracle Center a lot, and Reverend Roxy, they like to attack you, and other people around, some by name, and some they just like to attack our A Course in Miracles Church in general. Now, one of the things they attack me for is because I am openly polyamorous and bisexual, and I did that presentation with Reverend Roxy in Las Vegas where I took my clothes off. Never was totally naked. I want everybody to know. I always had little skivvies on, but I stripped in Las Vegas to make a point about body image. And so you add the Las Vegas presentation to the fact that I'm polyamorous and bisexual, and I get things like this on my Facebook page, on the Facebook group. Tony will fuck you in several ways, or should I say in more ways than one.
No.
He brags about how he indiscriminately fucks people.
Oh.
You may not be a body, but if you are a people, Tony knows how to fuck you.
Wow.
Nice.
That is
Nice. That was really good.
He was traveling.
Oh,
Wow.
that was good.
That's
Okay.
written by a 10-year-old, right?
I'm not going to talk about who wrote it. No.
You should say thank you.
They also tend to attack us a lot because we're in A Course in Miracles church, and we do classes that we charge money for, and we do conferences that we charge a fee for, and there's a lot of people who feel that A Course in Miracles should never be involved with anything where there is a monetary exchange. I've had a very prominent person in the group say that people like me make him gag, and that people like me who charge money for things related to A Course in Miracles are the lowest form of people. Nice. Okay, and there's been quite a bit of this stuff. So I just wanted you to know that there's been quite a bit of this stuff. And so there was that reading that we had today in the program, or that maybe you read on the chat. And it says this: no one attacks without intent to hurt. So these things that be perceived as attack, they're done with an intent to hurt. This can have no exception. When you think you attack in self-defense, I think some of these people believe they're defending the Course. It's a kind of self-defense. You mean that to be cruel is protection. You are safe because of cruelty. You mean that you believe to hurt another brings you freedom. And you mean that to attack is to exchange the state in which you are for something better, safer, more secure, from dangerous invasion and from fear. So when we do this, no matter how righteous we may think this attack is, it's because we somehow have gotten distorted, and we think that if we're cruel, that's going to help us in some way. Yeah, A Course in Miracles is really pretty clear that it's not going to help us. You may really disagree with somebody or something. It doesn't matter. Our dialogue with them shouldn't have this element of cruelty. So I got to tell you, why do we do this, or why do people do this, and why does Facebook seem to be such a place where people just feel they can just type whatever they want? And I had an experience the other day. It was last Wednesday. I was with a friend of mine, and we were going out to dinner. We had to find parking in an area of the city that's difficult to park in, even more difficult than this area. So it's always a challenge, but I never worry about it because, as I said, I've got the parking angel, the parking fairy, and I just, was talking to Reverend Gene about this earlier. I just asked the parking angel to find me parking, and parking angel's cool. I've talked about the parking angel before. Anyway, but if you got to find parking, you got to drive a little slow. Because you're looking and you see a little opening and you don't know whether it's a driveway or not, or whether you can actually park there, so you got to buy something. You know how it is. All of you who drive in San Francisco or even ride in San Francisco know what this is like. So I'm driving slow around this area trying to find parking so we can go eat at my favorite little restaurant, one of my favorite little restaurants. And apparently somebody was behind me who was annoyed that I was driving so slowly. And I was like, meh, meh, and it startles me for a minute, and it takes me a minute to figure out what's going on, and meh, meh. Now, oh, somebody's upset because I'm driving slow, so I pull over so the person can drive by. And the person drives like, meh, meh, gives me the gesture, and mouths some words, and drives along. And it's just, that's what goes on in Facebook. I'm sure that a lot of those people who do that, and I'm sure many of you have probably been in the midst of those experiences, a lot of those people that do that probably are really nice people and probably would never do that if you were to meet them on the street. But there's this illusion of separation that goes on when you're in this automobile. Suddenly you're isolated, and that other person who's annoying you is definitely an other person, not you, and you definitely feel that you can just do whatever and it won't affect you in some way. And I had another experience like this, and this is a true experience. Now, this happened to me maybe 20 years ago, so the details are a little bit fuzzy. And I was thinking of, this could be like a modern day urban parable. Just because it's something I think we can relate to. We read the parables in the Bible, they're a little hard to relate to. We know what they mean, the sower and the seeds and things like that. But here's a parable that I think is good, Course of Miracles related parable that's more up-to-date and urban. I'm driving in San Francisco down to Visadero, which is the main street, and I probably was just distracted, or I don't know what I was doing, but anyway, somebody behind me got really annoyed. And there was that beep, beep, the same type of thing, and it took me a while to get, figure out what was going on. Somebody wanted to get by me, beep, beep, so I pull over. And this person, and right now I can't remember whether it was a man or a woman. This person just like rushed around me, yelled and cursed at me, went really, really fast, went over a hilltop, disappeared, you know how the hills are, disappeared, on the other side of the hill. And I was a little startled, but I kept on. And as soon as I got over the hill and came up to the next intersection, I saw the person who had passed me so quickly had smashed into the rear end of a car at the next light.
Oh.
And I thought, instant karma's gonna get you. You're gonna hit you right in the face. And I drove by, and I saw the person again. I can't remember if it was a man or woman. And you might think I probably would have thought, yeah, there you got your your comeuppance. But I really didn't in that moment, because I knew that probably really wasn't who that person was. And I just felt bad. I felt bad that I had irritated that person so that person sped past me recklessly, gone over a hilltop, and then smashed up their car and somebody else's car. And I just smiled and sent love, really. I wasn't really upset. But that's what getting angry at somebody does. That's what being cruel does. It just hurts you. It may hurt the other person if the other person accepts it and agrees with it in some way, or if there's still something there for the other person to learn. But it always hurts the person who does it, regardless of the effect that it may or may not have with the other person. As I said, they like to attack us because we're at church, and sometimes I'll post something, and especially if it's Sunday, there's a couple people who put up these cartoons. And one of these cartoons is a cartoon image of Jesus with a real kind of like sarcastic, greedy look on his face, which you would never picture Jesus looking that way. And he's got a hand outstretched like here, and his other hand's here with a whole bunch of dollar bills in it. And Jesus says, "It's Sunday, bitches. You got my money?" I love that. "It's Sunday, bitches. You got my money." They love to like put that up. And here's Reverend Tony getting ready for church today. And then they got another one, which is some TV evangelist who I don't know who it is. Say some young, attractive man, and the man is just preaching, and then the words are, "Oh boy, it's Sunday. It's payday. Where's God's money, bitches?" So, they like to post that. And then there's one that they like to post, which is Jesus giving somebody the finger and saying, "Did I tell you to start a religion?" Okay, so, just this kind of thing goes on a lot. And they're up against this anti-church, anti-religious sentiment. But what we're really up against is the illusion of separation. The fact that people think that it just doesn't matter that they do. They think it's funny. They somehow think that this is funny and it's making their point, that they don't agree with me and they don't agree with the whole church thing. And because they have that illusion of separation, like in the car, I know that they would probably not do this if they were to meet you face to face, because one of the people that does this is a man, visits this area once in a while, and privately, he's private messaged me. He goes, "Well, next time in the area, we'll come and meet, we'll have coffee, it'll be nice to meet you." So, there's a nice warm camaraderie in the normal communications, yet somehow in that atmosphere of a Facebook group, they do the things that probably a lot of us do from time to time. They get in their stuff and they do cruel things that I don't know what it is. Okay, church, the whole church thing. First of all, there are a lot of people who think A Course in Miracles shouldn't be involved with a church. But there are passages in the Course like this one. It says, "Only you can be the foundation of God's church. A church is where an altar is, and the presence of the altar is what makes it a church. Any church which does not inspire love has a hidden altar, which is not serving the purpose for which God intended it. I must found his church on you, because you who accept me as a model are literally my disciples." So, Jesus is giving us instructions about how to found a church. Do it with an altar of love. Make sure your church is dedicated to love, which I feel Community Miracle Center certainly is. So, A Course in Miracles isn't anti-church. A Course in Miracles is pro-churches that have altars that are loving. And whenever we get involved, or other people get involved in this projection of anger, it might hurt us or me a little if I buy into it, but as I said, it always hurts them. And it's up to us to express forgiveness, which I believe I try to do. In terms of how to speak and how to behave in the world, I think A Course in Miracles actually does give us some guidelines. And I think that the word for the guidelines that are most frequently given to us in A Course in Miracles is mercy. A Course in Miracles uses that word quite a bit, mercy. Or it uses the word merciful. It says, God offers only mercy. Your words should reflect only mercy, because that is what you have received and that is what you should give. Mercy, be merciful, be loving. Mercy means I grant that you are maybe not as I perceive you, but you're the blessed holy child of God that you are. I'm going to treat you, maybe not as even as I perceive you, but I'm going to treat you with mercy. I'm going to treat you with love, because I know there's a higher you. It's like saying namaste. It's just, I'm going to salute the divinity in you, even if that's not what I perceive. I'm going to be merciful. So maybe these people have points of view and maybe they are upset, but in our words, in our dialogue with each other, we could be merciful. In another place it says, be merciful today. The Son of God deserves mercy. And somehow I don't think Tony will fuck you is a very merciful thing for people to say. I think they slipped a little bit. But I can be merciful and not hold it against this person and know that that's not who they really are, and not get into my own righteous indignation, not to get into my own illusion of separation. A Course in Miracles says, and it was in the reason, it seems to be the enemy without that you attack, this person that's outside of you. yet your defenses set up an enemy within. So the person in the car, whomever it is, cursing, yelling, giving people the finger, honking on the phone, a horn, they think they're doing it to somebody outside of them, but it always just sets up an enemy within themselves. And once again, A Course in Miracles said, be merciful unto your brother. Treat them with mercy. Treat them not maybe as you perceive them, but as you know they are in truth. And A Course in Miracles is giving us instructions all the time about how people really are in truth. The person who was putting up the images of Jesus with money and say, where's my money, bitches? I asked them, because I'm an administrator of the group, so I have a little clout. I go, okay, don't put up those images anymore, because you know I'm just going to delete them, because I can delete them. And so he went to another group. He agreed, but then he went to another group, another Course in Miracles, and posted these images and invited other people to post them on the groups. And he had told me he wouldn't, but he says, if you want to chat Reverend Tony's tight cheeks, you can post this in his group. LOL. So, it's just, I don't know. But this person feels righteously angry, is righteous indignation, righteous wrath. We're doing something, this Course in Miracles church, that this person doesn't like. And, there's an old adage, an old saying that says, the truth told in anger is a lie. So that might be his truth, and there might be some truth in it. There might be some communication for me and us to receive, but when it's told that way, it's a lie. It doesn't matter, because it's the energy that's important, not the message. The energy is certainly a big part of the message. And with that kind of energy, any message is what? Course in Miracles says, all anger is nothing more than an attempt to make someone feel guilty. It doesn't matter what kind of righteous indignation you have, or righteous wrath. Anger is an attempt to make that person feel guilty, and that is the antithesis of what A Course in Miracles is about. I could be angry because of these things, but then what would I be demonstrating? I think I probably could get a lot of agreement for my righteous indignation. But A Course in Miracles says this, lay down your arms and come without defense into the quiet place where heaven's peace holds all things still at last. Lay down all thoughts of danger and of fear. Let no attack enter with you. Lay down the cruel sword of judgment that you hold against your throat, and put aside the withering assaults with which you seek to hide your holiness. So A Course in Miracles is calling us all to just lay down all our cruelty. Don't get into an illusion of separation. That person that you feel righteously indignant toward is you. And they deserve love. Regardless of how they may be appearing to you, be merciful. Treat them like the divine being that they are. You'll be merciful to yourself. God offers only mercy. Your words should reflect only mercy, because that is what you have received, and that is what you should give. This church, Community Miracle Center, this gathering on ACIM Gather, you people who watch us on YouTube, we're all together, we're all in this together, and we are all joining at the altar of love. I love you, and I know you love all of us too. And that's what Jesus is commanding us to do in A Course in Miracles. Found a church with the altar of love. And that's what we're doing here to the best of our ability. Thank you so much for joining us. Amen. Bye.